North American International Auto Show, a 100-year-old celebration of the automotive industry in the heart of the Motor City. At the beginning of each year, Detroit, Michigan has invited the entire world to roll out their best alongside Motown's American metal and might. For a few chilly weeks each January, Detroit hosts a red-hot showdown all about shiny and bright bragging rights. The auto show is a one-stop shop filled with more than 500 vehicles in every shape and size. So sit back, in fact, sit shotgun, as we take you on a wild ride through the automotive showcase that started it all, the Detroit Auto Show.
Wake up from the voice in my head. I'm terrified from all the things that it said. Let's calm down like we're
NBC Sports presents the North American International Auto Show, better known as the Detroit Auto Show. And we welcome you inside Cobo Hall here in Detroit, Michigan for our 9th year of covering the North American International Auto Show here on NBC Sports. I'm Marty Snyder, joined as always by Phil LeBeau. Later in the show, we will hear from Townsend Bell and Kevin Lee. Number one, Phil, it is great to see you again.
It's good to be here.
Number two, I think there's a little bit of a different vibe on the floor for 2014. I want to get your overall thoughts after what was a massive year for the industry as a whole last year.
A big year last year, and for this show, it's a big year for the big three. You're talking about Ford with the new F-150. That's a game changer.
Yep.
Chrysler is trying to get back into the game when it comes to passenger cars with the new 200 model. And then you have General Motors winning the car and truck of the year.
Amazing,
we'll talk more about that later on, but overall, a very impressive show for the big three.
You talk about the health of the big three. When was the last time they were this healthy overall as corporations?
Financially, they haven't been this healthy since the late 90s. And on the sales front, last year, the big three actually picked up market share in the U.S. That doesn't happen very often. It hasn't happened lately very often. And so they've got momentum right now.
Well, their trajectory is certainly going in the right direction. And from what I understand, record numbers of what consumers will have a choice of in the showrooms this year, right?
63 new models coming out in the
amazing.
U.S. That's a record number. That's more than one every week. And as a result, you've got more choices when you're walking into the showroom. And by the way, they're all great choices.
One of those new choices as you walk around the floor this year, certainly muscle is back.
Yep.
A lot of horsepower being talked about this year on the floor. Why that sea change, if you will?
Well, we want to go fast.
Yes,
Americans
we do,
love horsepower. And at the end of the day, it comes down to this. We have to see more fuel-efficient cars and trucks.
Right.
We now have the engine technology to allow greater fuel efficiency and the horsepower, and people want that horsepower.
That's certainly a good thing, and there's no better example of an American muscle, if you will, than the classic Ford Mustang, and that's where we kick things off today with Townsend Bell.
All right, Marty, there's no better way to kick off an auto show than with some American muscle. We're here at Ford Motor Company with the all-new 2015 Ford Mustang, the 50th anniversary of this beautiful pony car, over 9 million sold worldwide so far. You can really appreciate when you're here in person how the roofline tapers down so elegantly in the rear and then kicks up at the tail, so much like those late 60s Mustang fastback designs that we all love so much. Now, the skin is pretty interesting. The hood and the fenders all aluminum, kind of like the new Ford F-150 they just announced as well. Inside, an aircraft-inspired interior. There's leather everywhere. And most importantly, that cup holder you used to hit when shifting from 5th to 6th gear, that's been moved over further to the right, so you won't hit your drink with your elbow anymore. Under the hood, we've got 3 different engine options. We've got the base model V6. We've got a 420-plus horsepower V8, 5 liters on that engine, and then a 4-cylinder turbocharged EcoBoost motor. A 4-cylinder in a Mustang, you might ask? Well, Ford tells me this is the first truly global Mustang. It's going to be sold all over the world for the first time in a long, long time. I know my friends in Europe will be pretty excited for that. All right, over here at Corvette, not only the 2014 Car of the Year award for the Stingray, but Chevrolet's wasted no time adding more performance with the all-new Z06 model. This thing is a racer's dream. Carbon fiber hood and roof, and this new version you see here has the Z07 package, which gives you this very aggressive rear NASCAR style spoiler, but all that rear downforce has to be balanced up front, so Corvette engineers developed a very unique looking splitter to optimize the COP, or center of aerodynamic pressure. That's the front to rear balance aerodynamically, just like a race car. Now that Z07 package also enhances the brakes with a ceramic rotor setup and massive Brembo calipers. There's 3 different braking options that Corvette offers. The standard package on the Stingray, the Z06 standard package with bigger rotors and calipers, and then the Z06 ceramic, which comes on the Z07 package. Under the hood is where this thing really sings. 625 horsepower, 630 foot-pounds of torque. Corvette's value continues to be super impressive. Now, I mentioned the electronics. This has what's called performance traction management. It is a multi-adjustable traction control from in the cockpit, 5 different settings of traction control. What that allows you to do is to optimize the slip levels on rear traction as you're laying the power down, just like what we have in the race car. But my favorite electronics feature is the performance data recorder. This is a data acquisition system that tracks speed, steering, GPS position, and video. There's going to be a camera on that option package right behind the rear view mirror that shoots out the front, and then it overlays those video traces right on top of your video image. It's exactly what we do in IndyCar racing and sports car racing, and it's available here in the brand new Z06 Corvette. Marty, the level of performance in this car for the price is unmatched.
Well, Townsend, we also know that German manufacturers can play the horsepower game, and BMW has made a huge splash here in Detroit with the worldwide debut of 2 high horsepower vehicles. First of all, the redesigned M3. Now, the M3's been around for quite a while, but this is a completely redesigned version of that car. But perhaps the most anticipated worldwide debut was this, the M4 from BMW. Now, both of these cars come with a twin-turbo 431 horsepower engine. The M4 that you're looking at goes 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. It has a 6-speed automatic transmission or a 7-speed dual clutch transmission with a manual shifter. Now, BMW has not set a price point for either vehicle, but they do anticipate them arriving at your showroom as 2015 models later this summer. Plenty more to come from the International Auto Show, including...
I'm Kevin Lee. If you like trucks, like the new F-150 behind me, or concept cars, we've got that and a lot more coming up as NBC Sports presents the North American International Auto Show from Detroit.
Ladies and gentlemen, the instinctively responsive 2015 Acura TLX prototype.
Welcome back to the North American International Auto Show here on NBC Sports. Chevrolet has impressed at the 2014 show for the first time in their history. They sweep the categories of winning North American Car of the Year and Truck of the Year this year. Phil, let's talk about this Corvette and also the truck. Why did they win both categories this year, in your opinion?
Well, the Stingray, if you've driven it, you know why they won Car of the Year.
Yes.
And the Silverado, it's an improvement from where the Silverado was. Anytime you win Car and Truck of the Year, that's making a statement.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of buzz around GM as a whole. Mary Barra named the CEO. She's almost like a rock star around here. What makes her so popular with everyone?
Well, there are hordes of reporters following her around here.
Exactly,
2 reasons.
yes.
1, she's the first woman ever to run a major automaker. And 2, she has the credentials for this job. She wasn't picked because she's a woman. She's picked because she has the credentials and the skills that they need to take General Motors to the next level.
Yeah, an MBA from Stanford will do that for you. There's a famous internal story at GM, real quick, where she sent out a memo a couple years ago, said no more crappy cars. Tell us about that story.
This is when she was in charge of product development, and it's that blunt language that she sent in this memo where she said no more crappy cars. A lot of people inside General Motors said, hallelujah, this is what we need. Somebody saying build quality cars and trucks, and that has made a lot of people say she's the right person to make General Motors deliver day in, day out.
Well, you mentioned the day in, day out. You and I were talking last year, and you said what makes Lexus, Mercedes, and BMW so good is they bring their A game every day. Can she do that and deliver here at GM? I know the jury's out, but what do you think?
She says that the Car and Truck of the Year awards are proof that they can do that. And if you look at what's happened with Cadillac, a lot of those new products developed under her watch, it's a big improvement for Cadillac. So she's got them going in the right direction. Now can they do it with every car and every truck?
Well, you mentioned Cadillac, and they were a finalist this year for Car of the Year, and many people think they'll be a finalist next year as well, and that's where Kevin Lee is hanging out right now. Kevin.
That's right, Marty. Last year, the Cadillac ATS sedan was named the Car of the Year. And this year, the automaker has unveiled its sister car. The 2015 ATS Coupe has an aggressive stance with wider front and rear tracks than the sedan. The roof, doors, rear fenders, and trunk lid are all unique to the coupe. It has nearly 50-50 weight balance and a low center of gravity for enhanced agility. The 2.0-liter turbo 4-cylinder model is the lightest in its class. It's also available in a 3.6-liter 6-cylinder in both rear or all-wheel drive. Inside, you find handcrafted cut and sewn upholstery. The Cadillac Q technology is available on all models with enhanced connectivity, USB and memory card ports, and a text-to-voice feature so you can hear incoming text messages over the speakers. The 2015 ATS Coupe is also the first production model to feature Cadillac's revised crest. Another winner of the prestigious North American Car of the Year award, Hyundai Genesis is back with an all-new design. The 2015 Genesis features the latest evolution of its fluidic sculpture design philosophy. That means upscale, modern, premium ambiance. Up front, the Genesis features a 3D grille with chrome surround. There's a distinct crease accent running along the hood and flanks of the car, also a coupe-like roof, and a dynamic rear design which includes a small trunk lid and sporty quad exhaust tips. Hyundai gave the second-generation sedan more technology. It uses bumper sensors to aid in parking, and there's a CO2 detector mounted in the glove box that lets in fresh air when needed. In addition to the voice recognition system, the Genesis sports the latest version of BlueLink, a system that works like your smartphone to do things like dig into your phone or calendar or search Google for traffic reports. With a starting price just under $40,000, critics wondered if Hyundai could survive in the premium car markets.
We actually do better in the premium segments as a percent of industry than we do in the general market segment. So we outperform the general market with premium vehicles, which nobody thought was possible.
And how about this cool feature? There's a sensor in the trunk that recognizes when the keys are behind. It can be in your hand or even in your pockets if your hands are full, and after about 3 seconds, it pops open automatically. This car is available later this year. Phil, you have an idea of a look into the future, right?
Thanks, Kevin. This is Mercedes-Benz vision of the future. And boy, what a vision this is. This is the S-Class Coupe concept. And if you come with me and take a look at the interior, you're not going to believe this. First of all, the handle, it's hidden in the door. All you have to do is press it once, it comes out. And on the inside, look at the white calfskin, all of the light that shines in because of the advanced moonroof. You've got a floating control panel, which will give you all of the information and connectivity we're going to see in the future, not only from Mercedes, but other automakers. But it's what's under the hood that stands out. A 4.6-liter V8 engine and something that Mercedes calls magic body control. There are sensors in the front of this car which will scan the road and then adjust your drive based on what they see coming up on the road ahead. It is Mercedes' vision of the future, the S-Class Coupe concept. Now with more on other concepts, let's throw it over to Townsend.
All right, guys. I'm over at Nissan here. Now, they're attempting to get revolutionary with car design, concept car design. This is all about emotional response. They want my ideas. They want your ideas. They want her ideas. She's looking into a virtual reality headset and kind of choosing her own emotional adventure, which is then born out in the vehicle design. Kind of a wild concept, but it led to this. This is the IDX Nismo concept car. And it's really the first time I've seen Nissan embrace their heritage. The retro look of this thing really reminds me of the Nissan 510 from the late 60s and the early 70s, a car that raced with great success with Peter Brock. You can see the Peter Brock racing stripes carried throughout here. And of course, what happens when you let a bunch of Japanese teenagers start with this process? You get things like side mirrors with no rear view mirror glass, just speakers, right-hand drive, of course, in Japan. And I don't know what's coming next out of Nissan, but it's pretty wild what they're dreaming up. Now, over at Acura, they're a little bit more evolutionary with the new TLX sedan. This is the mid-size luxury segment. Used to be the TL and the TSX. This is the TLX. Now, they say this is still a prototype version, but I'd say it looks awfully close to what we're probably going to see on the showroom floors. A couple of options with this car. It'll have a 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder option, both direct injection, 4-wheel drive and front-wheel drive options. And what I thought was really cool, standard 8-speed dual clutch transmission and an optional 9-speed dual clutch transmission. That technology, proven with other manufacturers, it offers very fast upshifts and very smooth shifting. Also important to note, they're going to be racing that car with the real-time racing team in World Challenge in 4-wheel drive. So that's the latest, Marty, here at Acura.
Well, while we're talking concepts, let's show you the one everyone's checking out here in Detroit. It is the Kia GT4 Stinger. You know, it's Kia's 20th anniversary in the U.S. market, and this is the ultimate in lightweight rear drive sports car made for gearheads. It has a 6-speed manual transmission, a 2-liter turbocharged engine, and 315 horsepower. It all sounds great, right? Except it is a concept. Kia says they are not going to build this vehicle, but it may be an indication of what we might actually see in the future in our showrooms. When we come back, we'll explore the latest technology advancements that help the driver become one with the machine. We'll talk trucks and the next generation of the F-150. And is fashion really deciding automotive design? Stick around.
The all-new 2015 Genesis.
Welcome back to Detroit. You know, we've already talked about Chevrolet winning 2014 Car and Truck of the Year, but how about their 2013 on-track performance? 14 professional motorsports championship for the Chevrolet group, including the IndyCar Manufacturer Series Championship. Elio Castroneves' car, who drives for Penske, on display here at the North American International Auto Show. You know, Elio and many other stars of the IndyCar Series will be right here on NBC Sports. Starting in April, we kick off our coverage with the Grand Prix of Long Beach. And speaking of the IndyCar Series, the man who took that trophy home last year, the Borg Warner Cup for winning the Indianapolis 500, was Tony Kanaan. Right now, he's with Kevin.
Well, Marty, it has been a very good year for Tony Kanaan. When you won the 500, you had told your son, if you ever win, you get the trophy. The problem is there's only one.
Borg Warner did a great surprise. I didn't know. He got a baby Borg, which is a tiny little one. It's the only one that ever exists. I don't know if they're going to make other ones if other fathers or dads win that race, but it was an awesome surprise for me, for my kid, especially for me that I don't have to give him mine to take it home to Brazil because he lives in Brazil, you know, and I live in America, so he was so excited, and to me it was a very emotional moment.
Congratulations again on the Indianapolis 500 crown. We are just about 2 months away from the start of the IndyCar season. That's the 500 champ, Tony Kanaan.
Well, thanks so much, Kevin. You know these Indy cars are absolutely full of technology, but the cars everyone can buy in their showrooms get more and more technology every year. For more on that, here's Phil.
Technology in cars and trucks has come a long ways. Remember when cruise control was a big deal? Now there are tech features in everything from the engine under the hood to the software behind the dashboard. In fact, Ford's Sync system is now in more than 10 million vehicles. Are we close to a tipping point when it comes to technology in cars and trucks? While Sync is not new, it is considered a benchmark for the auto industry, mainly because it's so popular. Sync features voice navigation, Bluetooth, and web connectivity, even audible text messaging, all at your fingertips while you're behind the wheel. While Ford's technology is focused on making sure you can safely stay in communication with your world while you're driving, Audi's technology is all about making sure you have less stress when you're behind the wheel. Audi cars can also detect the space between your vehicle and other vehicles on the road and then allow you to maintain a safe speed and distance. This is perfect for traffic jams, but is possibly functional up to 37 miles per hour. Should you lose consciousness on the freeway while you're driving, the car will automatically park itself. All of this technology is discreetly packaged inside your Audi with sensors and antennas built under the hood and into the frame of the car, so you don't even realize it's keeping you safe.
I don't think people really, 4 or 5 years ago, were really looking for piloted driving. But now that they're seeing what the possibilities are and the convenience and the opportunities it gives them to do a little bit more with time, that they would have to just be creeping along on the interstate. I think that's now beginning to catch everyone's imagination.
Increasingly, more and more people want the convenience of their smartphone tied into their car. Hyundai is taking that idea one step further with the Genesis Intelligent app. This app combines data from your Hyundai and your smartphone in one convenient location. Appointment time reminders, estimated driving times, suggested routes, all at your fingertips. It'll tell you the temperature outside and suggest that you start up the car remotely if it's really hot or really cold. That way you'll be comfortable when you get inside. There's even an interface for Google Glass. Impressed with all of these gee-whiz features? Think about this. The auto industry is just scratching the surface of what's possible. And within 5 years, our cars and trucks will be even more connected and more technologically advanced.
Well, Phil, not all of the technology is inside the car. Michelin has developed this new tire that actually evolves as it wears, prolonging the performance. Stay with us, plenty more to come from the North American International Auto Show from Detroit.
Download the Auto Show Passport app to see all the new cars from Detroit and the other international auto shows on your iPhone, iPad, or Android device. Back in Detroit, time to talk Audi. And Audi's using 2014 to debut in the U.S. their new Q3 model. The U.S. version will have a 200 horsepower engine with a 6-speed Tiptronic transmission, and it will come with a lot of cool options, including leather seats and a panoramic moonroof as well. Now, Audi expects this car to be in your showrooms in September or November of this year. Concepts are always a big topic here at the Auto Show. For more on that, here's Kevin.
Concept cars are always among the crowd favorites at auto shows, and certainly this one is no different. Volvo debuted this sporty crossover called the Concept XC Coupe. Making safety and functionality priorities, the designers worked with a high-tech Swedish sports gear company for inspiration in creating a concept for the active lifestyle. The long hood, floating grille, flanked by T-shaped lights, and the LED taillight signature are all style elements you'll likely see in the next generation of Volvo cars. As an added Swedish design bonus, check out the 21-inch wheels, the orange detailing, and matte rubber moldings. And what about this for concept storage? It's an expandable roof box for extra luggage. This actually will go significantly higher. This is in the down position with nothing in it, but you can put your luggage or gear or whatever in here. It'll expand significantly higher. Volvo is so proud of the interior in this concept, they've taken it out of the car and put it up here on the wall like artwork. We don't know if this car will be made, but Volvo told me that this combined with two other concepts point to the future direction of the new generation of the XC90. Another crossover concept that has caught my attention is this one, the Lexus LF NX. It looks almost like a full-size Hot Wheels car, something a superhero might drive. But tasked with making a smaller premium crossover than the Lexus RX, designers went bold. At the face, you can't help but notice the striking Lexus spindle grille and expressive lighting. The sculpted styling of the body combined with the fenders and wheel arches give it a muscular look. The brushed silver metallic finish gives the impression that the car was sculpted from a single piece of metal. Inside, there's sleek black and yellow leather seating. The center console extends the length of the cabin and separates the rear of the seats. And of course, there's the latest intuitive touchpad technology. The LF-NX's concept is a 2.0-liter four-cylinder turbo gas engine. It's Lexus's first turbocharged powertrain. The automaker says this concept is our first look as to how the Lexus brand will evolve.
So over here at Nissan, we're looking at the future design direction for this brand. This is the sports sedan concept, and we're told this represents exactly how design language is going to go here at Nissan for future products. It starts at the front with this very pronounced fist design pushing through the wind and then tapers all the way back and over the wheel arch, almost like airflow through a wind tunnel as it comes up over the front wheel, and then that very pronounced seam trailing off as it goes to the rear of the car. Now the roof line, I'm told by Shiro Nakamura, he's the chief creative officer for Nissan, that roof line is going to taper down and almost have a floating appearance back at that C-pillar. Then at the back of the car, we see the double boomerang headlight design that is very similar to what we see at the front of the car. They tie in together so beautifully. Now over at Infinity, I think race fans will be very excited to see where the design influence comes from there. Formula One runs deep here at Infinity with 4 consecutive world championships on the back of driver Sebastian Vettel, the new director of performance at Infinity. The partnership between Infinity and Red Bull Racing is now cascading down to their road cars, and what you're looking at here is the Q50 Eau Rouge concept. Now the name, of course, comes from that most famous high-speed section at the Spa F1 track, but the rouge in this car is clearly demonstrated by color. 24 layers of clear coat with a slight red pigment on top of a silver base. It delivers this deep red finish that's absolutely stunning in person. Now, where does a $300 million Formula One program help you on sports sedan design? Well, it starts at the front. You can see this floating front wing concept. Very much looks like the front nose on the Red Bull race car. It comes around the wheel arch to this vertical barge board, which pulls air out of the front wheel well and then channels it along through the bottom rail to the back, where this duct pulls the air back in to help cool off the rear brakes. Now at the back of the car, a very clever integration of a Formula One rain light. I think a very important feature if you're in the fog at speed, maybe on the Autobahn. But listen, Formula One is on NBC again this year, and Marty, it's going to be fascinating to see if Red Bull Racing and Sebastian Vettel can make it 5 in a row.
Well, T-Bell, what's one of the hottest forms of motorsports in all of North America? Rallycross. You've run a few of those races, and that's what Subaru was going with this brand new car. It's the WRX STI, and think street legal rallycross. That was their idea in developing this car. 305 horsepower on the engine, an updated transmission for smooth shifting, a new body structure, and new electronics for improved cornering and handling. And how about a set of Brembo brakes, just like a race car, to make you stop a little bit quicker. Inside, an instrument panel with an LCD screen. Now, the WRX STI Launch Edition that you're looking at is limited to 1,000 units and will exclusively feature this WR blue paint scheme, a nice new model from Subaru. Coming up next, our Phil LeBeau will talk to Ford CEO Alan Mulally as we continue from Detroit.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the all-new F-150.
Welcome back to the 2014 North American International Auto Show on NBC Sports. As you see, Chevy Silverado wins 2014 Truck of the Year. But as always, truck's a very competitive market. So who's the big competition for Chevy this year? Well, Kevin Lee has more. Kevin?
GM is also making a splash by rounding out its truck offerings, unveiling a midsize, this all-new GMC Canyon. In 2012, the automaker scrapped the old Canyon and sent designers back to the drawing board. In the end, GMC rebuilt every facet of the truck and gave buyers who wanted cargo hauling capabilities a more versatile and stylish premium product.
Forget what you think you know about the Canyon from yesterday. This is all new from the ground up, and it was done and executed with a focus on those areas that the customer told us were not being satisfied by either current vehicles in the market today, current pickups in the market today, or the old mid-size pickups that we used to do. So today's Canyon delivers on all those things.
Taking style cues from the larger Sierra, the Canyon has a bold 3-bar grille, power dome hood, and square wheel arches. Triple sealed doors means a quieter interior. There's a standard rear bumper step and an available easy lift and lower locking tailgate. Customers demanded upgraded safety and communications technology in a mid-size pickup, so GMC loaded it up with collision alert and lane departure warnings. Available touchscreens, iPhone Siri integration, 4G OnStar with Wi-Fi hotspot capabilities, and yes, it has teen driver mode control so parents can monitor speed and radio volume. You'll see 2 Canyon engine options in dealer showrooms starting in the fall. A diesel version will come later. Ushering in a new era of built Ford tough, the automaker has unveiled the all-new F-150. And let's just say it seems designers have put the full-size pickup on a brand new diet. Calling it tougher, smarter, and more capable, Ford has cut a whopping 700 pounds off of America's best-selling truck. Using a new high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy for the 150 body, engineers have improved its ability to ward off dents, dings, and rust while saving precious weight. This allows the pickup to tow more, haul more, accelerate faster, and stop shorter. But perhaps just as important as the weight cut is the improved fuel economy and agility. The concern, of course, is selling the lighter version to loyal, heavy-duty truck lovers. Ford answers that by saying they put this new vehicle through grueling tests in all terrains for more than 10 million miles. Another exciting change to the F-150 is 360-degree view. There's actually a camera right underneath the mirror and on the other side as well. The traditional camera in the back, and I love this. If you have trouble hooking up a trailer, there's an extra camera, trailer hitch assist. For more on Ford, let's check in with Phil.
And we're here with Ford Motor Company CEO Alan Mulally and the new F-150 behind us. This is a game changer.
Well, you know, Phil, it really is. You know, this truck has been the industry leader for 37 years, and people absolutely love their trucks, both for work and for play. And the neat thing about this F-150 is it's going to make another big step in fuel efficiency and also capability and functionality.
This is an example of changing the way we look at pickup trucks. When you and I were growing up, it was pretty basic. That's not the case anymore.
Absolutely. When I first became familiar with new F-150, I was thinking to myself, you know, I could live in this thing and pull my house behind it simultaneously. They're just fantastic vehicles, and all the functionality, and of course we have a complete family of vehicles all the way down from the minimum capability all the way up to the luxury vehicles, and everybody loves those trucks.
Ford has long been known for its trucks and its dominance in that category, but once you became CEO 7 or 8 years ago, you said, we have got to get back into the game when it comes to cars, particularly small cars, and you've changed the equation.
Absolutely, Phil. It was a very important part of our plan because we were always known for larger SUVs, Explorers, Mustangs, F-Series, and if we were going to compete with the best in the world, then we needed to have a full family of vehicles, small, medium, and large cars, utilities, and trucks, and actually serve all the markets around the world. So most people believe now that we probably have the finest lineup across all of the market segments.
When you look at cars today and how much they have advanced, both in terms of fuel economy, functionality, connectivity, are we just scratching the surface in terms of what we'll see from our cars 10, 15, 20 years from now?
I think it's really a neat evolution of the vehicles. And I keep thinking of Henry Ford's original vision that we've talked about. He wanted to open the highways to all mankind, to not only have great cars and trucks, safe and efficient, but also have them be affordable so we can all appreciate the freedom. And boy, are we really implementing his vision now. And you think of connectivity, smartphones, the mobile app of choice. The headline the other day was Ford, the mobile app of choice. So I think we have a lot of excitement on the vehicles going forward.
Alan Mulally, CEO of the Ford Motor Company, joining us here in Detroit.
Well, thanks so much, Phil. You know, the show is so big, it couldn't be contained under one roof. We'll see where the exotics found a home in Detroit. Plus, some of the smallest cars make the biggest waves at the North American International Auto Show. We'll explore the small but mighty stars when we come back on NBC Sports. Download the Auto Show Passport app to see all the new cars from Detroit and the other international auto shows on your iPhone, iPad, or Android device. Welcome back to Detroit. Well, Mini has certainly been a staple here at the Auto Show for the last couple of years, and this year they have a brand new concept car called the John Cooper Works concept, and unlike most concept cars, Mini says this one will actually make it to your showrooms. It will be the highest performing car that Mini has ever produced. If you want a Mini to produce a sports car, this is certainly it. But the cool thing everybody's talking about this car is the paint scheme. It is a silver metallic paint that is then hand brushed, almost to give it a stainless steel look, a very sharp looking car, and evidently a very fast car that Mini says will be in your showrooms. No timetable though on when that will happen. You know, Townsend's also floating around somewhere down here. Townsend, what have you found?
Das Auto be grooving, and they be giving us some very big things in small packages here at Volkswagen. Now, this is the Golf, of course, one of the most popular cars in the world, but this is the Golf R, four-wheel drive, 290 horsepower pumping out of that 4-cylinder turbocharged engine with direct injection. It's got a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, which is incredibly smooth, very fast shifting, also available in a manual. But what I really love about these cars is how refined they are. It's an incredibly versatile platform. I've had a GTI in the past, one of my favorite cars, but it's so easy to drive at the limit. In fact, so easy that they've given the user an option to disable the computer that does stability control. So if you want to take it to a track day, you want to pitch this thing out a little bit, it's going to let you for the first time. Speaking of compacts, over at BMW, they've got the new 2 Series. Let's say you weren't that crazy about the 1 Series, couldn't quite afford a 3 Series, well, how about a 2? This is an all-new model. It's both longer and wider than the 1 Series it's replacing, yet impressively, it's managed to drop about 200 pounds. How do they do that? Lightweight materials, high-strength steel throughout. This is a rear-wheel drive platform, a 50-50 weight distribution. They achieve that in one part, putting the battery in the trunk. Now, these cars are incredibly easy to drive at the very limit of adhesion. It's a lot of power packed into a very small package. This is the 2 Series from BMW, available in both a 228 and a 235M variant, which you see here. Marty, that's what's hot here at BMW. Back to you.
Well, Townsend, let's step it up in the luxury category. Why don't we? Always fun to talk about the exotics here in Detroit, and I always seem to find myself at Bentley. I guess there are worse places to be at the auto show, aren't there? You know, there are very few exotics on the floor this year, and there's a good reason for that. There's so many cars on the floor, they had to move the exotics actually to the MGM Grand in Detroit, where they hosted one of the coolest events at the North American International Auto Show. 28 ultra-luxury vehicles on display, from Rolls-Royce to Ferrari, Maserati, and Bentley, in a relaxed and intimate atmosphere for enjoying the exotics here in Detroit. You know, looking good as always in fashion. When we come back, we'll talk design influenced by fashion in the automotive sector. More to come here on NBC. Welcome back to Detroit, everyone, for the International Auto Show on NBC Sports. Well, Phil talked about it at the top of the show. One of the cars he was really excited about for 2014, the Chrysler 200. Both the C and the S are completely redesigned this year. And why is he so excited about it? Well, let's check out the car. It's based off the Alfa Romeo chassis. It has LED taillights and daytime running lights, and also a completely redesigned look on the front grille. It has 2 engine options, the 2.4-liter 184 horsepower engine, or the 3.6-liter V6 295 horsepower version. It also has a 9-speed automatic transmission. The driver controls that with a rotary E-shifter knob, and the 200S includes paddle shifters. All of that for a base price under $25,000. Now you can see why Phil LeBeau was so excited about this car and why he thinks it'll be a home run for Chrysler. Well, today, after all these years, I find out Kevin Lee is our fashion expert. I never knew that, but here's Kevin to explain why fashion and cars are marrying together better than ever.
Come on, Marty. I thought everyone sought my counsel when it comes to fashion. Actually, not so much. But I do know that these ladies know something about fashion, and they're actually matched with this classic remake of a car from the 1970s. And I also know that cars have always been a sort of a status symbol and a reflection of a person's unique style. For example, what does a Dodge Challenger with a Hemi shaker say about its driver? Well, more and more as auto designers create new concepts, they're looking at women and their fashion sensibility for inspiration.
It's all about creating an emotional connection with women. How do I feel when I sit in it? How do I look when I sit in it? What's my emotional feeling when I walk up to the car? And it's very similar to buying a dress.
It's a great dress. You put it on, you feel empowered, you feel more confident. If you're in your car and you feel really great about it, it feels luxurious, like that could impact your feelings throughout the rest of the day.
Well, this car would have me feeling pretty good. It's the car of the year, the Corvette Stingray. But everyone has a style of their own. So, what do women want from their car?
Mirrors are important. Think about hair, makeup, but also to make sure you're not knocking into anyone. I love the interior of cars, so soft, luxurious, and elegant. The backing up features to make sure I'm not going to hit anything are important to me because I'm not the best driver.
To bring that female fashion into focus, the company whose brand is Built Ford Tough brought in a designer from Donna Karen.
We're able to take all these emotions and transform it into something that's tangible, something that you can wear, something that you could drive in.
Marty, automotive fashion designers here have told me that they really have to try to be psychic. They're trying to design what you want before you even know that you want it.
Well, Phil, it's hard to believe it's time to wrap the show up. The hour always seems to go so fast here at Cobo Hall. What is your number one takeaway? For me, it seemed like horsepower was back in a big way.
It is back in a big way, and it's combined, though, with the idea that you can have performance, but you can also have greater fuel efficiency. You don't have to choose one or the other.
And technology, too, seems to be on the rise as well. Is that more of a demand from the consumer these days, that it has to be in a car that they might buy?
Absolutely. The auto companies no longer see themselves strictly as automakers. They see themselves increasingly as tech companies. And that's why they're working closer with the Silicon Valley, so that what you see on your smartphone will ultimately be what you see behind the wheel.
All right, throughout the hour, we've seen a lot of cars, a lot of trucks. The car that impressed you the most, what is it?
The Z06.
It's a lot of power, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge, 625
Did you ever think we'd see
horsepower.
that much horsepower on the floor here again?
No. Realistically, no. I thought after the last few years and with the fuel economy mandates, we would never see that. But if you look at it, it's not going to be in big volume, but enough there for those people out there who really, really want to go fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love your take on the Ford Mustang, because it seems like to me Ford hit a home run with the combination of a fuel mileage option and a powerful option as well.
It's much more affordable than people were expecting. And in terms of what they've packed into this car, they didn't really skimp. They didn't cut corners. I think the Mustang will do very well next year.
Your take on the truck that impressed you the most?
Probably the F-Series, mainly because it's a quantum leap. They are trying to take 700 pounds out of a pickup truck, put the fuel economy above 25 miles per gallon, and at the same time, you've got General Motors coming out with the new mid-size trucks. The Canyon was introduced. And so there's a bit of a battle going on there. Do you go smaller or do you go more lightweight?
Fun to watch, certainly. And now I know we all love talking about concepts. Everyone loves at home seeing the concepts. What's the concept that impressed you the most?
Probably the Mercedes S-Class coupe concept.
Yeah, beautiful, isn't it?
It is. It's
if
like
it
a little
ever makes
rocket.
it to production.
And that's the beauty. It's eye candy. It's for you to sit there and say, wow, I would love to drive that someday. We may never see it. Probably won't see it.
Couple of takes on the manufacturers. I didn't see any Chinese manufacturers here this year, and they had such a huge presence a couple of years ago.
The Chinese aren't ready to come into the U.S.
Really?
Nowhere close. They cannot make the type of automobile that we demand in terms of quality, fuel efficiency.
And finally, your 2014 forecast for the Big Three. We've talked about them a lot. They seem to be going in the right direction.
Yes.
What do you expect this year?
I think there's a possibility that for the second straight year, they could pick up market share. It's not going to be easy because there's so many more models out there. It's tougher to stand out, but they could increase their sales in 2014.
Well, and not easy, too, because they had such a massive year last year, right?
Right. It's very tough to have all three automakers go up year after year.
Well, we appreciate it, as always. A lot of fun for you to guide us through this hour and take us through all the brand new cars. And we appreciate you guys stopping by to check out the 2014 and 15 cars that'll be in your showroom this year. For Phil LeBeau, Kevin Lee, and Townsend Bell, I'm Marty Snyder. Thanks for joining us at the International Auto Show here on NBC Sports. We'll see you in the showroom.